CQ. Hello, CQ. CQ, the Old Friends Net. Time for the Sunday edition of the Old Friends Get Together. This is W4MEC, your net control for today in Henderson County, North Carolina. And the Old Friends Net meets 3 times a week. Today, 6:30 p.m. on 3715, and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. on 3715. The mode is Amplitude Modulation, and while we do, I hope you might find a boat anchor to get on the air and restore. Anybody that can generate an AM signal is welcome to join us, whether it's the latest whiz-bang, soulless black box with no knobs, or whatever you got that's old. Let's see, this is a great place to look for stuff. I said, look for gear, sell gear, look for bits and pieces, or maybe some information that you can't find about something you're working on. And we also meet once a month for lunch in Spartanburg, South Carolina. What's the other thing? The Old Friends Net's been around for something like, 20 years? I forgot the date now, 20-something years. 23, 26, I can't remember. I had it written down somewhere. But anyway, it's been around a while. So it's also a round table style net. So I'll take check-ins and get everybody seated around the table, and we'll take off from there. So if you wish to participate, please give W4MEC a call. Come now.
Good afternoon, Charlie. WA4LLR.
And 4LQ.
Q.
WB4ARK.
W4KR.
November 4 Alpha Kilo N4AK.
Short group here. Okay. There was a double with Steve in for LQ. It also ended in Q, so I'm thinking it was, what is it, is it KG? I can't read my writing here. I can't remember either. Yeah, KG4IUQ, it might be, and there was a double with Glenn, and I did not copy that, so let's do the list real quick. We got Dave, WA4LLR, Steve, N4LQ, question mark, Buddy, WB4ARK, Stan, W4KR, Glenn, N4AK, and after Glenn, another question mark. So who are those 2 stations I missed? Come again.
JQ, Tom, I point.
Okay, I got Tom, and who was the other one? Carrier or no audio?
You know, it helps if I turn on the speech part. Hey, KN4R.
Okay, Brian, very good. Any further check-ins for round number 1? Come now.
K4 VWD.
Okay, we got Lee. Any more? Okay, here's the list we've got. LLR, LQ, FJQ, ARK, KR, AK, 4R, and VWD. Any more for round 1? Nothing heard. It's W4MEC and the Old Friends. Good afternoon, fellas. It's about 68 degrees here, overcast. Well, it's sun's kind of out a little bit. Partly cloudy, let's call it partly cloudy. And had some rain last night and a little spit this morning, and it finally got a little sunlight coming through the trees this afternoon. Everybody sounded good this evening. So let's get started here with Dave. WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC and the group. WA4LLR, well, good afternoon or good evening to everybody on the net. Good signal so far with no problem. We've got 61 degrees, partly clouded and slightly breezy up here in Yancey County. Had 0.97 inches of rain this morning. It's almost a full inch. And it's very pleasant early fall weather at the moment. So, how are things in Shelby, Steve? N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Well, good evening. WA4LLR, N4LQ, and the illustrious group of boat anchors. Well, it's 66 here in Shelby. It's overcast. It's been dripping and spitting all day long, but I don't think we got any more than a quarter inch of rain. Last night we got a nice little shower, kind of good sleeping weather. Haven't got to take my walk today, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to. Went out for one yesterday and walking along, and I suddenly realized that I had passed something on the pavement. Turned around and looked, and it was a 3-foot long copperhead laying right there beside my foot. So I did a real giant leap for mankind. Took a few pictures of him, and boy, he had a copperhead that was glowing, just absolutely something to see. So I was hoping a car had come along and run over him, but I walked all the way home, took about 20 more minutes, and got in the car and came back, and he was gone. I was going to dispatch him. Oh well, that's the way it goes. So, Tom, how's it going up there? WA4FJQ, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WA4FJQ. Things are going fine, Steve. Yeah, that's an interesting story about the copperhead. We've got a big one that lives behind our house. We've got a bunch of railroad ties, and he lives in there somewhere. My wife's seen him twice. I've never seen him. We got the dog bit last year by one. So they're all around here. But anyway, we didn't get very much rain. We were hoping to get some more. We only got maybe an eighth of an inch in that gauge. So that's about it. So it's about 60, 68 here. Cold over, not cold, but just overcast. I missed the list when Charlie called it. Who I'm supposed to turn it to. So I'm going to turn it back to Charlie and wake up, Charlie, and turn it to whoever follows me. So I'm going to turn it to W4MEC. This is WA4FJQ.
Okay, Tom, real good. Following you is Buddy, WB4ARK. Take it away.
W4MEC, WB4ARK. All right, first time on in a good while for the Sunday evening net. We got probably 2.2 inches, 2.5, something like that, over the last measuring period, which started this morning at 7 o'clock. And so that's about it. The wife has gone to a supper at the church, and I'm here taking care of the cats and just taking it easy this afternoon and checking out this ART-13 with all the covers on it. And I hope it sounds good. So over to W4KR, WB4ARK.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Good morning. This W4KR, good afternoon, I should say, W4KR. Afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since I've been on. Sunday, always something was going on out here late Sunday afternoon, but quiet today. Temperature here is between 68 and 69, and we haven't had any rain. It's been sunny most all day. A little bit of cloud earlier, but sunny most of the day. And all's been well here. Usual stuff on the Viking 2 and the 75A2. So with that, down the road here to Glen, N4AK from W4KR.
Okay, neighbor. In the old friends group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. Temperature over here at Sunset is 74 degrees right now. It hasn't been very hot today, maybe it's high 77. And 10 meters was open today, I guess, so some of you fellas knew, and it was open up until, I'm sure, an hour ago. I worked into Spain without any problem on a wire antenna. You guys in Washington State were doing a special, so it's called the Salmon Run. Charlie, I assume you have a 7200 and I can pick it up later, no big hurry about it. Play with it if you like. Dave says it's going to be a challenge. Not Dave, but InfoLQ says it's going to be a challenge. It doesn't matter. I would have given Wayne the transmitter no matter what. Anyway, I'm going to put my pine board radio in the place of the Valiant. So the pine board radio ought to run 10 watts. So if I can get on there one day, I'll let you fellas hear it. But my crystal won't be 3715. I need a 3715 crystal. I'll probably be up the band a little bit. But anyway, I appreciate the picture of Wayne's shack. He really has a nice workshop set out there. Most everybody is 30 over 9. All the signals are very close to each other. I don't know what everybody's running, but the signals are very close. Brian, to you. N4R, N4AK.
Okay, Glenn. Very good. N4AK in the group. KN4R, Cheryl's Ford, North Carolina, where it's 71 degrees, and it's 30% chance of rain through 8 p.m., it says. And it's been raining. It rained real good this morning, and then it's just been spitting and off and on the rest of the day here. I think that the pavement outside might be a little wet. So, Charlie, first of all, thanks for you doing the net. Also, I'll ditto Glenn's comments about the nice pictures you sent regarding your equipment transport to and from Myrtle Beach. That was great. And let's see, Buddy, the ART-13 sounds wonderful. And Stan, the Viking 2 does as well. And Glenn, great on 10 meters being open in your DX. And I hope they have some salmon out there for the salmon run. So, Charlie, I've been working on a presentation about national moving coil receivers, which came out after the HRO. And I want to thank Steve and also John, BBC, for providing some feedback and some assistance. So I got that one wrapped up, and I started another one. That presentation will be Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Zoom. If anybody wants to participate, I'll send out the link here in just a bit. So, and Charlie, regarding your story you told me about the RCP Airways receivers that stayed in service at Greer until 2005. If you happen to have a picture of you and a receiver or two, I've got a blank slide waiting for you in the presentation, so I'll try and make you famous. So, anyway, Lee, over to you. K4VWD in the group. KN4R.
Okay, Brian, KN4R. This is K4VWD. Well, it's 61 degrees and light rain here at my house in Greenville. And Charlie, I'm sure glad you made it back okay. And I hope that Russ band spanner did all right. I want to tell the net and anybody who's listening, I would like to buy a Bible for anybody that doesn't have one and wants one. So if there's anybody out there that does not have a Bible and wants one, please let me know. My email address is k4vwd@aol.com. I am using my number 2 transmitter, but I'm listening on my number 1 receiver. I fixed the receiver. The thing went dead on me just about, and I figured it was the audio output tube, and sure enough, that's what it was. I bought some, and they came Friday. So Saturday, I put the new tube in, and the receiver is working just fine. And Steve, I've got my new slug in for my bird watt meter, and I've got 35 watts. But I'm using my number 2 transmitter and my number 2 power supply for my number 1 receiver. And buddy, the ART-13 sounds real good. I'm glad you got that. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Charlie. W4MEC in the group, K4VWD.
Real good, Lee. K4VWD and the old friends, W4MEC. Do we have any check-ins that would like to join us? Come now. Ew, nothing heard. So, okay, it's W4MEC and the old friends net. Real good. Good copy all around. Everybody's booming in. Let's see. I'm glad that tube fixed the receiver, Lee. And let's see, Glenn, I need to bring you that 7200. I will let you figure out the mysteries of the 7200. And I need to go down to see Lee again and check the amplifier. I'll probably pick it up. I think it's starting to pop electrolytics one after the other. And I'm just going to wholesale change them all out. I think there's 8 of them. And I found the right value at 50 volts higher voltage and relatively cheap. So I'm going to change all the filters out in that Bandit amplifier so it won't keep blowing up on them. So I'm planning a trip down there. Maybe we can swing by and have another lunch down there somewhere. We'll work that out. Let's see. My trip, yeah, well, it was pretty much uneventful, except when I got to Columbia and I wanted to exit off of I-26 onto I-20. And normally my wife always suggests go down to Bush River Road and get off there and then go back to I-20 because the entrance ramp there is very long, whereas the one at 26 is very short. Well, that was the problem. And of course, you know, traffic down there is a nightmare, and I was ahead of rush hour. And I got in the far right lane and was slowing down because the traffic was backed up the entrance ramp and stopped, and I was hauling, slowing down, and 2 cars came around me and went right in front of me. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I was standing on the brakes. Of course, the trailer's got brakes on it too. And I was standing on the brakes on the car, and I must have come within an inch of running in the back of that second car that pulled in front of me. And I don't know how they would have, if I would have hit them, what kind of ticket they would have given me, or if I would have got a ticket for those guys taking up the space in front of me. But anyway, the good Lord was with me, and I didn't hit anybody, and the rest of the trip was uneventful. Except for, like I mentioned in the letter, in the note there about getting lost, trying to find Wayne's house and getting on that lady's private road. But like I said, she turned out to be a sweetheart after I said I was looking for Wayne Fraser's house. So they're through the woods neighbors. He lives on one side of the woods and she lives on the other, and they like holler back and forth to each other. But not for long, because right across from the road from where Wayne is, they're building more houses. But it appears like in this, it might be 1 or 2, because they are not leveling the forest. They actually cut a road in and were selectively cutting trees. So this is somebody different. That's not going to bulldoze this place flat. So anyway, a lot of growth down there, you know, bedroom community to Columbia, and quite crowded, and glad I made it down there and back without any having to deal with too much traffic. So. Let's see, any other notes? Not for now. Tom, you're booming in here. Great signal. Just as everybody else is. So, all right, let's go around again at least once more. WA4LLR, W4MEC.
Okay, W4MEC, WA4LLR. Fine business, good copy on everybody. Everybody sounds great. Band's fairly quiet, so no problem. Charlie, echo the thanks for the pictures of Wayne and his wife. That was neat. Glad that you dropped his name and made a friend. Praise God that you didn't get to rear end those two, what should we call them, thrill drivers. Buddy, the RT-13 sounds just fantastic. Lee, good deal on using number 2 transmitter and number 1 receiver, and glad the new tube fixed things up for you. That's good news. Always like it when things are simple. This is probably the last time I'll be down in Studio A for a little while. I have to be in the hospital in Hendersonville Tuesday morning at 5:30 a.m. for the hip overhaul. I've got a low-powered station set up upstairs, and hopefully in the next few days I can get on it, but I don't know how long it'll be before I can negotiate the stairs down into the basement. So you may have to strain your ears a little for a little while, but hopefully we'll get back down here before long. As far as space weather, sunspot number's 88, solar flux index is 140, and the K is 3.33 at present. We did have a CME impact late last night, but it's kind of cleared up, and there's another one coming. They think it will probably arrive on the 19th, somewhere in that ballpark. A few items this day in history. The Battle of Antietam breaks out in 1862. The Occupy Wall Street movement started on this date in 2011. On this day in 1394, King Charles VI of France ordered all Jews expelled from the kingdom. On this day in 1787, the Constitution was signed. On this day in 1976, NASA unveiled the first space shuttle, the Enterprise. 1978, the Camp David Accords were signed. And on this day in 1983, Vanessa Williams was the first black Miss America. On this day in 1939, Soviet Union invaded Poland. So that's a little bit of this day in history. Running the BC 610 and listing on the HQ 150. So, Steve, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR, N4LQ. It was a good round, a lot of information there. And Tom, real fine on your woodpile copperhead. Stay away from that thing. That thing was in the street as I walked by it, and he was facing away from me, and obviously he was alive, because when I got back he had taken off, but apparently I caused him to freeze up, and he had his head up and he was kind of watching me, and I just backed away. But all I had for a weapon was my walking stick, and I don't think that would have been adequate to fight him with. So anyway, that's something you gotta watch out for. I mean, I've read in Charlotte, somebody last year was just walking down the sidewalk, and a copperhead just jumped out and bit him. So they're pretty mean little rascals. Well, I'm running the AF-68 Elmac and driving the AL-1200 to about 320 watts, and the horizontal loop antenna, and receiving on the NC100AX, and I'm live streaming off of it, which is interesting. I'm feeding the audio directly into the computer, into YouTube, and the video from the camera onto the receiver. So it turned out looking pretty good. I had to replace the dial lamp. The dial lamp assembly was a tube that was glued onto the front panel, and the bulbs slid into that, and it had all dry rotted. So I just got rid of it and ordered from Amazon a stick-on LED strip that runs on 12 volts, and it's a foot long, and you just peel the back off of it and stick it wherever you want it, and it fit perfectly up under the lip of that front panel. And then I made a little voltage doubler using 2 rectifiers and 2 capacitors, stepped my 6 volts up to 12, and made a beautiful, bright, evenly lit display, but too bright for the camera, so I switched it back over to 6 volts AC, and of course you can run the LEDs on AC and they just rectify and look fine. So that's what I'm doing now. If you look at the live stream, the S-meter was way too bright, and I had to put a resistor in series with it to tame it down for the camera temporarily. The S-meter is a problem. I'm going to have to do some modifications to it because everybody slams it over, and if I try to adjust it for 0, it slams it over the other way too far, and it's just hypersensitive. So anyway, everybody looks really good on that S-meter. Glenn, I'm anxious to hear your Pine Board transmitter, if I can find you, and that'll be a real thrill. Maybe some morning you can try that. Brian, you're sounding good, and I'm going to try to watch that video with the moving coil nationals and see what that looks like. And Lee, okay on the Bible offer there. I've got plenty of them, but appreciate that. And also your AF-68 number 2 sounds good. And hopefully we can get your other one back to you pretty soon. And Dave, yeah, I guess we may see you tomorrow morning anyway, before you go to the hospital. So there you go. Over to Tom for another round. WA4FJQ, N4LQ.
N4LQ in the group. This is WA4FJQ. Okay, Steve. Yeah, well, I grew up in South Louisiana, and we killed on average about 30 snakes every year down there. Most of them were copperheads. Once in a while we get a moccasin, and that was the one you really wanted to kill. They're aggressive, and they'll put you in the hospital. Everybody in the neighborhood got bitten, mostly by copperheads. But we did see 2 coral snakes in the 20-some years that I lived down there. We just saw them. They didn't bite anybody or anything like that. So snakes are everywhere down there. We used to shoot them with our .22 rifles when we were kids and carve notches in the stock, and after a few years the stock was nothing but notches. So anyway, well, Dave, good luck on that hip surgery. My brother-in-law had that done about 2 years ago and didn't have too much of a problem with it. Kind of surprising, actually. But then he followed up with the knee, and he had a heck of a time with that. That laid him up for pretty close to a year. So hopefully the hip surgery will go well for you. Receiving everybody very well. The band is amazingly quiet. Everybody is 10 over, and no problems copying at all. Okay, let me turn it over to Buddy at WB4ARK. This is WA4FJQ.
WA4FJQ, WB4ARK. Well, we've got a good copy on all signals tonight. The band is a little bit noisy here. We've got a good bit of static situation. I presume off to the east and the west. It's dark in the west and dark in the east, so I presume we've got some activity in both directions. Thanks for the report on the ART-13, and I still have a few more things to do to it, and I'll be finished probably this upcoming week. This is the first time I've been on in the evening, in quite a few months. But it's good to get back on in the evening, so hopefully we can continue this. And we got, I think I mentioned this before, about 2.5 inches of rain since 7 o'clock this morning. So that's the report on the weather from here. It's been overcast all afternoon, all day, and drizzly most of the afternoon. So W4KR, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy. WA4ARK. WB4ARK. Sorry about that. W4KR. Well, Dave, forgot to mention last time about your hip. Good luck with you. They usually have a reputation of being pretty easy. Had my wife's college roommate best friend who lives in the Chicago area had one about 4 months ago, and she got up that afternoon and never stopped walking. Done very well with it. Very well. And good luck. And buddy, as others have said, the audio on the ART-13 is really smooth. Nice and smooth. Sounds good. Indeed. Forgot to mention before, a couple things. I have an SX-122 and its speaker that's in real good shape that I'd like to find a new home for. It came as part of some other stuff that I bought a couple years ago, and I drag it out and run it every once in a while, and it does fine. A couple of marks here or there, but otherwise it's in good shape. And SX-122, good receiver. I think that was about the last general coverage receiver, mid-range general coverage receiver that Helicrafters made. Also, I'm looking for a CRL 400A or 400, 400A, 400B speech processor. That's a CRL was Circuits Research Laboratories was their name. They eventually bought the Orban people and changed the name of the company to Orban because Orban was better known than CRL. But they made some good stuff, and I'm gonna need one of those for a project that I'm starting to hatch here. With that, Tom, I don't believe our paths have crossed before. Good afternoon to you. Good to meet you. And with that, Glenn, here it comes. You're doing. Everybody's doing fine around the 20/9 mark, and Glenn, you're a little bit more than that. And with that, 7-3s, good night, everybody, and we shall catch you another day here pretty quick. N4AK and the Old Friends Group on Sunday. This is W4KR.
Okay, Stan, W4KR, miles per kilo, and I hadn't been hearing you lately, so I know might have some health issues somewhere on one side of the family, as we do. And you remember we met with Jack just before TWX down at the restaurant here 4 or 5 months ago, and I hadn't heard him on the air, and I'm very concerned. I know he went to the hospital about a month ago, and so I think he's had a serious setback with his heart. Those of you who have direct TV in this area, Channel 7 came back on this afternoon, CBS, so that was good news. Charlie, okay on the 7200, and I'm pretty flexible. Whenever you come down to to work with Lee. Maybe we can arrange for lunch and halfway or whatever it takes. Be a lot of fun. And I was hoping Wayne would be on with the Valiant this afternoon, but after looking at that picture, I don't know where he's going to put it. Maybe he can pull another table in there and put it on. And I don't know what kind of mic he's got, but I did leave a mic connector on the back for him. So let's see, Lee, I think you said you finally got around to reading some of the stories, and one was about the Shen 2150 and the Barnstorm, a friend of mine. And I don't know if you got around to the South Georgia funeral yet or not. You can probably relate to that one. So, Brian, you've got a nice signal tonight, and I hope you'll share with us the presentation you're working on. Yours already, they're always fantastic. KN4R, November 4 Alpha Kilo.
Okay, Glenn, N4AK in the group, KN4R returning. All right, very good. Well, thanks for the comment. I'll send something out here just shortly. Let me see. Let me go down the list. Dave, I'm hoping that you're going to need some physical therapy. And I can't think of any better therapy than up and down the stairs. So it's good you have a low-powered rig upstairs, but I'm thinking you'll probably you'll be PTing your way down to the basement shortly. And everybody I have talked to says that hips are easier than knees. So I'm hoping it goes really, really well for you. Let's see. And Glenn, I'm also waiting to hear your Pine Board radio, and I'm going to check and see if I have an extra 3715 crystal around here. Lee, thank you so much for the super offer, Bible for all. That's wonderful. Let's see, what else have I got? Steve, very interesting on the Copperhead. I don't know if you whipped your camera out to take a picture of it or not, but if so, I'd love to see it. So I guess that's about it for me. Let's keep it going. I'll hang in till the end. So back to you, Lee. K4VWD in the group, KN4R.
Okay, Brian, KN4R. This is K4VWD. Well, let me say this, that our next luncheon is October the 5th at the Golden Corral in Spartanburg. So I will mention the Bibles again at that meeting. But anybody that happen to be listening, still, I'll be glad to help. So somebody out there listening wants a Bible, let me know. My number 2 receiver is not working like it should, and that's the RF gain, Charlie, that we talked about. And Steve and I've been playing with it some, and it just doesn't work like it's supposed to. But I got it sitting off to the side. And that SX-122, I pulled out my old Hallicrafter's book and looked at that radio, and boy, that's a beautiful radio. I kind of like that. I wish I had room for it. Let's see, Glenn on the funeral. Yeah, I read that, and I didn't see anything that surprised me. But I'm telling you that all of those articles are so well written. You must have taken some writing lessons or something at some time or other, because they are so well written. Thank you very much for them. And let's see, if I got, Steve on the Copperhead. I'm glad that stayed in the road and you didn't have to deal with him. And Dave, on your hip operation, you'll be in my prayers, man. I sure hope that goes well and you get over it real quick. And with that, I'll send it back up to you, Mr. Charlie. And did you use the Webster Band Spinner? W4MEC, this is K4VWD.
Real good, Lee K4VWD in the group, W4MEC. Any check-ins that like to join us? Come now. Yeah. Is anyone else here in that weak carrier?
Charlie, the last time you signed, you asked for check-ins, additional check-ins. I thought I heard something, but I'm not hearing anything now.
Okay, I got the scope on too. I didn't see anything popping up on the scope, but I thought I just heard a carrier, but apparently not. W4MEC and the old friends, real good. Let's see. Brian, yes, I will get those pictures and email them to you after the net here. And so information, I'll include that, get that done. Buddy, do you still need the .002 Sangamo style LS2 capacitor? I'll go dig through that batch. And leave the antenna, you're not going to believe this. I had it all set up. I even took my MFJ analyzer and I tuned it here and marked the tuning rod, you know, the what do you call it, you know, the spike coming out the top for the different bands that I was going to use. I threw everything in the back of the car because the antenna hookup is really a trailer hitch with a spring on it with an antenna mount on it, so I couldn't use it on the way down, but I was going to use it on the way back. And I got down there, and my mobile rig is in a little carry case, and I used to take it up to my son's and set up my station up there where he lived. And it has everything in it: power supply cables, microphone, key, antenna, everything, and an LGG tuner. I got down there and opened the case up. It has everything except the DC power cord that hooks up to the car. So I looked, I said, how could I jury rig this? And there was absolutely no way to get 12 volts to the radio. So reluctantly, I put it all back together. And when I came home, I started digging around, and I found the power cord that goes in that car. So I thought it was in the box with all the other stuff, but it wasn't. So, and the reason was it's the same fitting that goes on like a Kenwood or an ICOM, and I had it on my bench plugged into a cigarette lighter type connection, and it was sitting there plugged in and looped around. The cable was sitting on a vise, and I never looked at the never considered that was what I needed. So missed out on that. So anyway, my heart was in the right place. Let's see. I know Stan checked out on the last go-round, but I'm really not sure who checked out on the last go-round, so I'll start from the beginning again here and see anything else I had a note on. Not really. Let's see. I was going to re-advertise. You fellas all saw the email, but if anybody's looking for that Valiant that George has, I can grab it in 2 weeks and bring it back. And I started scratching my head. George didn't say anything to me, and I started thinking, well, did he say Viking 2 or Valiant? And this is the exact confusion I got in with Glenn's, because I kept calling it a Viking 2, and it was a Valiant. So having some confusion on that effort there. So anyway, but if anybody wants a boat anchor transmitter, I can get it from George and bring it back up this way. Let's see. Back to Dave. WA4LL or W4MEC.
Station with the carrier like to come in. Somebody's been frequenting their carrier. I don't know what's going on there. W4MEC and the group, WA4LR, 732 Stan. He's the only one that I've got marked down as signing. Steve, glad you escaped the copperhead and wish you'd had the opportunity to dispatch it. I'm not a fan. I want to thank everybody for the well wishes. I've had one hip replacement back in 2015, and it went well, so I'm praying this one does as well. Lee, thank you so much for the prayers, and I also appreciate your offer on the Bibles. Brian, looking forward to the presentation. If you will, send us a link to that. Other than that, Charlie, thanks for calling the net. Everybody have a great weekend, 7-3 or what's left of it. 7-3, God bless, and we'll catch you when we can. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Yeah, somebody's having fun with their carrier, just KC up. Comes right through the passband, nice and loud. So we really appreciate that. Okay, well, I sent a picture of Mr. Copperhead out so you all can enjoy the thing. I mean, it was just maybe a foot from my foot, and I'm glad he wasn't turned around the other way, or he may have got me. And there wasn't anybody around, and it was a 20-minute walk to home, and I didn't pass one car. So I don't know what I would have done. Probably crawled up the hill to another house somewhere around there and tried to get their attention. Also took a picture of a spider on my deck. We were sitting there the other day in the sun enjoying it, and we saw this tiny little spider about the size of the head of a pencil sitting on the rail, and we've always had a lot of cobwebs. And Linda said, "Now don't hurt him. He's not hurting us any." So I walked over and I got real close to him, and I said, "Hello, Mr. Spider," and he looked up at me and cocked his head like a dog. So I got the camera phone out and took a picture of him, and I zoomed way in. And you know, if you study the face of that spider, it kind of looks like a dog a little bit. So there you go. I thought it was a real pretty thing, and I sent it to my daughter, and she's scared to death. She's scared of spiders. She said, "Oh, Dad, don't send me that thing." So anyway, yeah, let's see, buddy. Good luck with the cats and the ART-13. Sounds good. And let's see, I guess that's about all that I've got today. So everybody's checking out early, so if I'll just hang around here till the end. But I've switched over to the SDR to do my listening, and things do sound a little better because I've got more opportunities to null out noise. So on we go to Tom. You still there? WA4FJQ, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WA4FJQ. Yeah, still here, Steve. Somebody, like you said, had a carrier sitting on top of the tower. I couldn't copy much of that transmission with the carrier being so loud over here in High Point. But at any rate, well, good luck with the, I mean, I guess you got good luck with the Copperhead. Like I said, we've got problems with them around here with this big, these big railroad ties that we have in the back of the house. But I did want to tell Stan that before KR, your signal is really, really strong. It's just like you're right here in the shack. You're taking out all the QRF, Nancy, and everything else. So a really excellent copy on that Viking 2. But that's about all I've got to say, and I'm going to say 73s at this point. Dinner's waiting. So thanks, Charlie, for running the net, and we'll turn it over to Buddy WB4ARK and say 73s.
WA4FJQ, WB4ARK. Good luck, Dave, on the operation. I hope it goes well. And the atmospheric conditions have not gotten any better here. Still about the same. I don't hear any thunder, so that's good. Charlie, thanks for doing the net. And I do not need that capacitor. I found one that has an 832 hole in it. So I just ran a 632 screw through it and put a nut on the end, so that it matches exactly what was in there except for the mounting condition. So that's that on the ART-13. We have a few more little odds and ends to do to it. But I think it should be ready to bring back to the next luncheon. Let's see what else we got here. Thanks for the photos for the Wayne shop and the other photo of Wayne. I really appreciate that. So we'll say 73 from here, and we'll turn it over to Glenn. N4AK, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy. WB4ARK. The Old Friends Group, November 4 Alpha Kilo. And nice, Tom, to have you continue to check in with us from High Point. Have a very nice signal, so it's never any problem copying you there. So, welcome to the net. And certainly, Dave, prayers with you on the hill. At least you've had one of these procedures, so this one is not going to terrify you. You just got to play the game and do what they tell you to do. And I already have the copperhead picture there, Steve, so thanks for that. All right, so, okay, thanks for the comments there, Lee, on some of the stories that I tell. Anyway, let's see. Brian, I think you're still in here. I'll pass it to him. KN4R, N4AK.
Hey, Glenn, very good. N4AK and the group KN4R back for round 3. I was just across the room listening on an RCP receiver. And it sounds pretty good. So anyway, just having fun over here. It's great to hear everybody, and hope everybody has a wonderful start to the week. So I'll back to you, Lee, to put the ribbons on it. K4VWD in the group, KN4R.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian. This is K4VWD. Well, the last time I used that Webster band spanner, Charlie, and I probably had told you, was 10 or 15 years ago. My wife and I were headed down the interstate, and I had put it in there, and I had a Ten-Tech Scout in the car. And I worked a local Florida net of some sort. The guys were down in the middle of Florida, down below, a little bit below Tampa. But anyway, I worked as I was going down the interstate with my wife driving. And that's quite an antenna, I think. It is absolutely wonderful. But I had that Ten-Tech Scout in the car with that Webster band spanner, but I wasn't sure about the settings, so I had a little very small antenna tuner in the car too, and I used it, but the guys in Florida heard me just fine, and I was on I-26 just north of Columbia a little bit. So anyway, that's a great antenna. So thank you, Charlie, for doing the net. I'm going to hang around till you shut it down. But thank you for doing it. I'll say 7-3, God bless everybody. But I'll wait till you shut it down, Charlie. So back to you. W4MEC in the group, K4VWD.
Very good, Lee. K4VWD in the group, W4MEC. Real good. Let's see. Wayne Shack. He actually has a little room in there, believe it or not. On the right, off to the side, there is another cabinet that matches his desktop. And it's got a couple of empty shelves, so I think it will fit there just fine. And he'll be able to tune everything up and operate. But his son's going to do all the heavy lifting for him, of course. So he sent me a message and said they were working on it a little bit, trying to get it situated. So he's working on it. Let's see, any pictures? Yeah. So I guess that's about it. I'm just looking back over my things here. And Dave, we'll keep you on prayers here on that surgery. Hope it goes well and quickly. And you're out there running a marathon here in a couple of months. And I know that this program here in Hendersonville apparently is it runs very well. I mean, they have a well-known reputation for this kind of work, so which is unusual for Hendersonville. It does. Maybe it has to do with like 54% of the population being retirees, so I guess you got to have a good situation for all those folks, you know. And let's see, that's about it. And we'll look for everybody on Tuesday morning. Let's see, I have another comment there. Nope, but thanks for everybody that checked in the net today. And Buddy, the ART sounds great. Thanks for all the effort you put into that thing. It sounded like it was one of the more difficult ones. So again, thanks everybody for checking in. And 7-3 for now. And I'll be shutting down the old fringe net, but you all can carry on as long as you don't QRM the fellows coming up next. W4MEC and the old friends. Bye-bye.
Before you go.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, yeah, I'm getting ready to send you an email about your TCS station. I was looking for a picture of one of mine, so we'll get that done. N4QH, good signal today, W4MEC, 7-3.
All right, maybe we'll see you Tuesday.
For RGN. For RGN.
This video.
In there, K4RGN, I believe. This is KN4R. KN4R. You still there?